Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
I'm Glennon Doyle, author of Untamed and host of the podcast We Can Do Hard Things. Each week, we talk openly and honestly about the hard things in life together with you. So join us and some of our dearest friends and greatest heroes to talk about anxiety, boundaries, parenting, infidelity, our bodies, loving and losing, all of the things that make us human. Listen to and follow We Can Do Hard Things on Odyssey and everywhere you get your podcasts.
What's up? It's your boy, The Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Update here on a story we brought you a few months back. Steve Silva is happy to be back at work cutting hair at the Boston Barber Company on Beacon Hill. It's been great. I'm seeing all my clients and everyone I work with. I miss them a lot. He does admit that he was a bit nervous coming back to where he nearly lost his life. You may remember surveillance video from February showed Silva slip and fall on top of his own scissors and stab himself in the chest.
I mean, generally speaking, you don't regard being a barber as a dangerous job.
It was kind of wild. It happened so quick, he said. Silva said he was using a water spray bottle when the floor got wet. In the video, you see him walk behind the barber chair when suddenly he slips and falls right on top of his very sharp scissors. I had them like this, and when I fell, they went like that. So I instantly pushed myself off the ground, and when I did, they came out. His coworker and customer jumped in using towels to stop the bleeding. I didn't know what happened at first until I looked down at my shirt, and I stabbed myself. When he looked at his scissors, he realized how far that they'd actually gone into his chest. Yeah, maybe more. I just remember seeing the blood stain to there, fingering it down to about 4 inches off the top of the blade.
Jesus, man.
Yeah, paramedics showed up minutes later. They stabilized him, rushed him to Massachusetts General Hospital 3 minutes away. Once there, an ultrasound confirmed doctors' worst fears. I hit my aorta. And then I hit the sac that your heart is actually in.
Jesus.
So the blood was going into my heart. He was rushed to an operating room undergoing a 3-hour surgery. He says he woke up at 2 a.m. in the morning. They were taking the ventilator out. A week later, he was home recuperating, and now he's back cutting hair among the people in a place he loves. He says, obviously, I'm extremely lucky. Everyone was here, because if this had happened in my house or somewhere not as close to the hospital, it could still have been a lot worse. He's still working part-time, but is expecting to be back to a full-time workload soon.
And that's a barber. And again, you just don't regard that as a dangerous job. Obviously, that can happen. But I do have a list. They say these are the 10 most dangerous jobs here in the U.S. All right?
Okay.
So, look, everyone has screwed up at work, but I'm just going to guess if you do one of these 10 jobs, you really don't want to screw up work. So the most dangerous jobs in America. Number 10, a power lineman. So out of every 100,000 workers, on average, 20 die. All right?
What?
Ooh. Out of every 100,000 power linemen.
100,000.
100,000.
Okay, all right.
20 die. All right? That's number 10. Number 9, firefighting supervisors. So not the firefighters themselves, but the supervisors. That, much like the power linemen, 20 per 100,000.
Wonder why supervisors are the ones that are getting
it says
the most dangerous part of the job.
Firefighting supervisors, they're responsible for supervising and coordinating the work of firefighters. This work includes the prevention and control of fires, obviously. But some of the tasks that these supervisors perform include communicating, dispatching vehicles, evaluating fire size and condition. I can see where maybe things go wrong. Training, evaluating firefighters. Anyway, the most common cause of death on the job in firefighting supervisors, what would you guess?
Fire.
Fire, yeah, they got to go in.
Fire.
Traffic crashes.
Followed
by fires and explosions, right? So if you're a firefighting supervisor, the most dangerous part of your job is other people on the road. Number 8, at 26 out of every 100,000 workers, farmers.
Based on probably machinery alone.
Transportation, they say crashing, including tractor crashes, the most common fatal injury for farmers, man, the tractors.
What about bales of hay?
That figures into it, but the most likely way, if you're a farmer, the most likely way you're going to die is a tractor accident. Now, that said, the bales of hay, they're going to kick your ass too, but apparently every once in a while, the livestock.
Also, you'll read those stories about a silo accident where someone has fallen into a silo
and just sink.
Basically quicksand, and there's no way out. You know, you suffocate and drain or whatever the hell.
All right, your top 10 most dangerous jobs. And you don't think of this job as being dangerous, but when I say it out loud, it makes complete sense. Delivery drivers. 27 out of every 100,000 workers. So you're safer being a firefighting supervisor than you are, say, driving for Domino's.
Yeah, I don't even think
in
that
the
like
scheme of things.
A bike messenger would be a dangerous job.
But like driving's dangerous in itself.
It is.
So like a delivery driver, like
driving
if you're
all
dropping
the time.
packages, you're on the road all day. People are going to they might think you have something in there, so they might rob you.
Yeah, it says traffic crashes are the leading cause. They didn't even list other causes. It's going to be traffic. Number 6, iron workers. 29 out of every 100,000 workers.
That might just be heights.
Yep, they say falls are the most common fatal occupational accident for structural iron and steel workers. Very good, Ted. All right, this one.
Look, we've been looking at this building for about, 5-6 months now. They've been putting up across the street. They're up to the top and they've capped it. And I've watched nervously about 5 or 6 people up there walking on those I-beams. Mm-hmm. I mean, it kind of reminds me of that picture, the old picture of the guys
Empire
eating
State
lunch.
Building.
Yeah, just sitting on a beam and, in the middle of the sky in New York.
I never thought they're so brave. I'm like, at the time it was built, they were so broke.
They were hungry.
This was work, man. Number 5 on the list of the most dangerous jobs, and again, you would not think this, garbage collectors. 34 out of every 100,000 workers die. And what do you think the most common cause of death for these particular workers?
Falling in the truck?
No, and this sounds
toxic
awful.
fumes?
It sounds terrible. I was kind of hoping it'd be falling in a truck. Not that I want them to fall into the truck, but if it's going to be the cause of death. Not only is it being struck by a vehicle, specifically by a garbage truck. So if you are a garbage collector, the most common way for you to die while you're on the job is to be struck by a garbage truck. I don't know if it's your own or someone else's, but that's the
I can see
number
another
one.
car buzzing by and hitting you, you know what I mean, and doing that kind of number too.
Oh, number 4 on the list of top 10 dangerous jobs speaks for itself. Roofers, 41 out of 100,000. The most common is exactly what you think. Falling the hell off of a roof, falling the hell off of a ladder. Either way, landing on the ground is where things get
Have you ever
bad.
gotten your roof repaired before?
I have not, and I got to do it soon, man.
I got to tell you the story real quick before you move on. I got this place, and the roof had never been replaced before. Okay, so the home inspector, he comes over. He's going to do a thorough, right? Mm-hmm. So he gets up on top of the roof. He's already been in the attic. He's already been all over. He looked around. He's like, I'm not sure about this. How well the roof is actually ventilated.
Sure.
So he's up on the roof, and all of a sudden, he is gone. He is gone. He is absolutely gone. And I hear, boom. He fell through the roof. All right. And basically ended up straddling a beam below.
Did the beam stop his fall?
Yes, but both of his legs went through the ceiling of my place. However, based on that happening, they expedited the roof that I was going to get replaced anyway. I knew the roof.
There's a hole in it now.
Well, here's what
Why they expedited it?
Here's what I knew. I knew the roof desperately needed to be replaced.
Sure.
There was no doubt about that. What I did not know was how bad the sheathing was underneath the roof.
He didn't either.
The entire roof, all the plywood had to be replaced because they put in this plywood at the time that was code so that it would break through in case of heat and a fire for row homes.
Oh, right.
So as the roof did not vent, for 30 years it sat in there and it weakened all of the plywood. And the plywood was actually thinner at that point in time because of that fire code. So when he explained it to me, after we got his ass out of there, but it was, he was gone. He was just gone. I looked up at him and I couldn't really see the hole from the angle that I was at because I'm looking down from the ground.
Right.
All right. So I can't, it's a slope roof. I can't. I'm like, did he go on the other side of the house? So it took me a while. I walked around the house 3 times. I thought he fell off. I thought he fell off the back and it landed in the backyard or something. So I'm walking around the house. I'm like, where in the F did that guy go? You know what I mean? I could not figure out where he went. And he was okay. He was all dusted up. I think the worst part about him, for him was the fact that there was a lot of insulation up there, but it was that old school fiberglass kind of just, he was just all itchy and dust was all over him. He's just scratching his neck like he was a mess. I felt so bad. I had to write the guy a check for $300. But anyway, the roofers who came, they were insane. Yeah. They were insane. You could just, it was almost like the equivalent of what I would feel like if I was on an Alaskan fishing boat. Just like, where did this crew come from?
Right.
All these guys are crazy, man. They are nuts.
Well, you meet a lot of people that do a lot of things. I feel like meeting roofers is rare.
Yeah.
I meet a lot of construction workers.
Tons of
and
construction
that. I just don't meet a ton of roofers.
Yeah, that specialize in roofing. But yeah, that is the fourth most dangerous job you can have in the U.S. Again, 41 per 100,000 workers die. And we all know why they fall. All right. So the next, this one makes sense. Number 3 on the list of the top 10 most dangerous jobs, derrick operators in oil, gas, and mining. In other words, that big goddamn thing that's spinning. The most usual cause of death, it just says here, coming into contact with equipment. Because I think everything there grinds stuff up, heats stuff
and
up.
The chains they're using on those things are massive.
There's nothing about that. Nothing looks safe in that job. You know what I mean? Not a single thing about it looks safe. And I know you have safety protocols and all that, but like everything about that job and its operating looks like it's designed specifically to kill you.
And when you go down to California, those things are everywhere. Those pumps, those wells, they're through neighborhoods. There's like, sometimes there's a well in between homes. It's like the damnedest thing. I mean, they are just everywhere. They're just commonplace. It's crazy.
Number 2, aircraft pilots and flight engineers. Fatality rate, 53 per 100,000 workers. The majority of aircraft pilot fatalities occur in crashes of privately owned planes and helicopters rather than on a regularly scheduled commercial jet.
Okay, I was going to say.
Most of the pilots that die while flying, they're not flying your plane, they're flying their plane or a plane they rent.
With hopefully you not in it.
And I know this sounds awful. I'm happy to hear.
I mean, like you think about the Alaskan bush pilots.
Right.
You think about the guys they charter to do these things and these tours and helicopters and everything else. And those always seem to be the one, like, we're taking someone to heli-ski. We're taking someone to a remote lake to hunt, fish, whatever.
But even in Alaska, there's certain towns, like, it's the only way you can get in and out.
Right. I mean, this is what you must do. I've been on a helicopter twice, and the first one was Hawaii. And you go out to see the pilot. And like I said, the pilot, it reminded me of Magnum P.I. Yes, I was in Hawaii, but beyond that, I'm looking at the helicopter, and it's like, I'm pretty sure this is homemade. You know what I mean? It looked like borrowed parts here and there. He did a fine job, but he's one of those guys that big, like, walrus mustache, and everything's going to get a little bit bumpy.
Yeah,
but the next time I got on there, it was like Airwolf. These guys, you literally walk outside. I wish I could make this up. They're all wearing the same uniform. They all have aviators on. They're all the same buzz cut, but they're standing there like superheroes. So you walk out, and there's like 3 pilots. They're all standing in front of their own helicopter, and these helicopters look bad ass, but they all have their hands on their hips and their legs spread. I'm like, see, I feel safe. And those guys, they were great, man, inside of these things.
2 loop-de-loops, man.
But as we're flying over Niagara Falls, there's a highway that runs beside it. My son looks out. God bless kids, but you trying not to bring up crashing much when you're in the air. But it's like, Dad, if we crash, I'm just like, Jesus, dude, what, man? He points at the highway, or points at the water. And says, I hope we land there. I said, boy, this is Niagara Falls. You'd rather hit the highway.
You don't want to go over that thing in a helicopter.
Just get it done. I would tell him, hit the highway. Avoid the water, man. When we got over the falls, he agreed with me. He's like, oh, I see. I'm like, you're right. You wanted that.
Yeah, and they're helicopters. They don't glide.
They don't glide unless you consider a vertical drop a glide. But the single most dangerous job you can have in these United States of America, and this does not affect most people, but here in Washington State, it affects a lot of people. If you live in Oregon, a lot of people, logging workers.
Oh, yeah.
111 out of every 100,000. Obviously, they use heavy machinery to fell the trees, handle logs. Logging worker deaths are most commonly caused by contact with the logging machines.
So it's not a fallen tree on them?
More than likely, it's because you made contact with the actual machinery, not the tree dropping on top of it. Which to me makes it even worse.
Does that count chainsaws?
Yeah, I mean, I think ricochets off a knot, right?
I also wouldn't be surprised if some of those guys that drive those trucks with those logs on them don't have a pretty dangerous profession, too, as far as the weight distribution is concerned. I saw a truck overturned in Oregon that was full of those, massive logs.
Yeah.
And the only thing I could think of was, okay, it seemed like the driver was okay, because I think he was standing on the side of the road talking to the police and everything. If you see the size of these logs, how in the hell are you going to get that thing? Like, I'm sure there's a place they pull into, you know what I mean, where they put those down and they have a big crane or something.
Yeah, obviously.
But that's stationary. That's not like on a truck or something. I mean, when you see the size of these, you just think, man, I guess they come out and cut them all up into pieces to just even try to get them off the road. But, I mean, the truck was totaled. Because the logs, basically just destroyed the back of the cab.
What do you think the weight is on that? Because even when you pass those things, and I know they're bundled in there, but I'm always like, man, don't let this be the day that one of those straps snaps. Because, you look at those logs, it's like, it's not going to damage the car. It's going to crush it. I mean, there's no
I
two
can't
ways
even
around.
fathom how much they weigh.
No, not at all. They're goddamn huge. But yeah, I do not. But those are your top 10 most dangerous job. And loggers, hey, congratulations.
I can't believe Alaskan fishermen didn't come up on there.
It did not come up on there. I'm sure they rank in the top 20. It would have to, right?
Who really messed up at work, and did you feel really bad for him? 206-421-ROCK. Maybe you didn't feel bad for him. This is kind of a crazy story, but you've heard within the last week. In 2019 and 2020, the same inspector led teams checking the condition of a bridge that spans the Mississippi River. It connects Arkansas and Tennessee. Both times, the teams failed to notice a crack that now shuts down the bridge for repairs. There's no mystery. Arkansas transportation officials said he just didn't see it. But the reason he didn't see it is because he was not following proper protocol.
You could not see it if you were doing it. They showed a picture of it. Like,
Yeah, I saw it.
I'm not an inspector. I'd be like, hey, man, there's something wrong with this bridge.
His job was to check every inch of the beam. A re-examination of drone video footage showed the beam was cracking in May of 2019. Before that year's inspection, on Monday, the inspector who had been on the job for 15 years was fired. The results of the state investigation have been turned over to prosecutors. The result, by the way, could have been catastrophic. The bridge, which opened in 1973, carries as many as 60,000 vehicles a day, including long-haul trucks, shuttling between Memphis and Dallas. There's no estimate yet on how long repairs will take. The bridge first has to be stabilized using metal plates so inspectors can work on it safely. The deck and substructure of the two 900-foot spans are inspected every year by the state. A private contractor checks the upper parts. It was a private contractor who actually noticed the near break in the beam and called 911 saying, we need to get people off of this bridge immediately.
I remember that part. And keep in mind, so the contractors, they only inspect the bridge every 2 years, the upper part, and they saw that crack and were like, dude, this is not okay.
Yeah. It is the Hernando de Soto Bridge, and it's carrying I-40 over the Mississippi River. So basically, the U.S. Coast Guard said 47 tugboats hauling 771 barges, they were waiting in line Thursday just to get through. They eventually let them through, cutting off the biggest route for U.S. agricultural exports when the waterway is at its busiest. Some 430 of those were headed north and the rest going south. Believe it or not, the Mississippi River is the main artery for U.S. crop exports.
It's in the middle of the country, right?
They all go down to New Orleans and somehow get out of the Gulf of Mexico. But either way, as far as the rerouting that's concerned with the semis and everything else,
rerouting where?
It could take.
It's a river. It's the Mississippi, man.
They have to take a completely different route, either way south or way north, just to even get in the general vicinity.
And this guy, he lost his job for that. By the way, some people are checking in. So one guy, we read the list of the top 10 most dangerous jobs. This guy's disappointed that flagger is not in the top 10. I assume he's the flag. Look, we get that it's dangerous, but aren't you happy?
I didn't even think
that you're out there. Like, I'm glad it doesn't say radio show host. Like, I'm glad for not being in the top 10. But someone here, we mentioned farms. Typically, most likely, it's because a tractor fell in you. This guy says, I worked on a pig farm in Wyoming. Dude fell into the pig pen. And what do you think happened?
They ate him.
They ate him alive.
No way.
They ate him alive. He worked on the pig. He fell into the pig pen. The pigs ate his ass alive. Sealand, no. Because I'd rather work at the zoo, because at least the zoo's exotic.
I thought pigs were friendly and smart.
They can be.
I mean, these might have been hogs and a bunch of them in a pen. They've been waiting.
Yeah, man.
Who really messed up at work, and did you feel bad for them? 206-421-ROCK.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
Take the next step toward the career you want, be it business, cybersecurity, healthcare, or more. UMGC can help you get there. No application fee when you apply by August 31st. Visit umgc.edu, certified to operate by Chev.
There's a new and different way to fund your business or side hustle without the hassles of a loan. HomeTap. HomeTap is an investor that gives you access to your home equity in cash in exchange for a share of your home's future value with no monthly payments or interest. How you use the money is totally up to you. HomeTap. Get more from home ownership. Get more from life. Subject to eligibility, terms and conditions apply. Visit HomeTap.com to apply in minutes. That's HomeTap.com. HomeTap.com.
99.9 KISW. The men's room is in progress.
Ronnie Castle on the way. We will sit and spin. Today we go back in time a little bit. 20 years. 10 songs that were hits 20 years ago. Coming up as we'll sit and spin right after emails on our question, who really messed up at work and did you feel bad for them? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Sean. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola.
How you guys doing today?
Doing great, man. How are you, brother?
I'm okay, despite, what I'm calling about happening less than 4 days ago. But, hey, it is what it is.
Okay. All right.
So, I just started a new job. I'm a pipe layer. We were setting out a layer or run a pipe, and we had set up some trench boxes to prevent cave-ins. Well, we had to stack two on top of each other, and these things are, older than dirt. So, long story short, the CEO started telling the operator in the excavator to start pulling them back, while the top one decided it was going to Pac-Man open so close to my face that it actually cleaned my hard hat off of my head by 5 feet up and 5 feet out, and a chunk of dirt from on the wall of the thing actually got stuck in my nose.
What would have happened if that thing actually hit you in the head?
If it would have hit me on my nose, it would have sent my the cartilage of my nose straight back into my brain. If it would have hit me on the chin, it would have cleaned my head right off the top of my shoulders.
Jesus Christ! Did you have to take 5 minutes after that?
No, there was no stopping. I stepped back. The operator had the hell scared out of him. He thought he actually killed me, so I feel bad, but at the same point I don't, because he should have listened to me. But, I stepped back. About 3 seconds later, I yelled, "I'm good," and we went right back to it.
Did you ever, go home and take a deep breath or smoke a joint or get a beer, or just kind of...
Oh, yeah, I went home and I enjoyed that herbal remedy quite well, but, the whole rest of the day I was shaking a little bit, I had to pack me some Grizzly for a minute, but other than that, I've nearly died on almost every job I've ever done at least once, so I just kind of roll with it, make sure everybody else is good to go, and then hop right back into the mix.
Well, tell me you've only had 2 jobs.
No, unfortunately, I've had quite a few in my short 24 years of life.
What was the last job that you had, and how did you almost die there?
My last job, I was cleaning porta potties for United Site Services, and I almost died because Junkie tried to jump me while I was in the middle of a unit in downtown Seattle.
Jesus Christ, man!
Okay, did he have a weapon on him, or?
Yeah, he had it looked like a screwdriver he tried to stick me with. I kind of just jumped in the toilet and closed the door.
How long was he outside of the toilet?
He was banging on it for 2 or 3 minutes while I got the cops on the phone. The cops actually showed up pretty quick, which was surprising, but by the time they got there, he was taking off harassing somebody else, I'm sure.
Did you think to yourself, this is not worth it, that I'm hiding in a porta potty from a junkie with a screwdriver?
Well, that wasn't the thing that made it not worth it, but that sure added to the list of reasons why I jumped ship here recently.
Okay, what about the job before that?
The job before that, I was doing landscaping.
And how did you almost die landscaping?
Guy lost control of the tiller he was running, sent it right at me, and I jumped over the top of this small tiller by, I'd say, maybe I had a foot over top of it, but if it would have grabbed me, it probably would have ripped my legs all the way up to the femoral artery and taken me out. Yeah.
You ever start thinking people are out to kill you? Like there's one hitman hired at every job you have?
Yeah.
Make it look like it's an accident.
I've gone with the idea that I exist merely to fight the gods, and that, they're going to try to get me every chance they get.
But those are the only 3 jobs you've had where you've almost died, right?
No, I had a few more before that. I even nearly died just doing, resetting the shelves at your local Safeway.
What? What were you stocking?
Shelf collapse, fall backwards, what?
Yeah, what had happened was a guy on the other side had miscalculated the weight of something and went to pull it off real quick while the metal shelving decided to spring back and the whole thing toppled on top of me. The only reason it didn't crush me was because it was one section, and I was able to kind of stop it from falling directly on me.
Do you have a life insurance policy?
Yeah, I actually reminded my mother and father to make sure it's up to date when I almost had my head taken off last week.
Okay.
Wow.
Just checking.
Yeah, man,
That's quite the streak.
you seem like a nice guy, but I'd never want to be your coworker.
No.
I think that's the fairest way I can say that.
Landscaping is like I did it, and it seems simple enough.
Sure.
But you forget how many blades and stuff are involved.
Right, one
like,
mistake could be real bad, real
like
quick.
the big mowers behind, like those never bugged me. But like sometimes, like a steep hill or something, you can only use a push mower. And I remember once like slipping and falling like 3 times. Like as he said that, I was like, oh yeah, that mower almost
coming off the side of a hill when it's wet or something like that. Or hell, man, you could run over a nest of bees.
Right,
Or
that happened to the guy
yellow
who was
jackets or whatever the deal is.
I saw a guy. God, I was a kid, man. I'm maybe 8 or 9 years old, and it was a very old couple, but they were very friendly to my family. So they had this big backyard, and their backyard looked out over Lake Ontario. But they're not at sea level. Their yard is about 40 feet above that, and then there's a bunch of rocks, and then the lake. But we're sitting, they had a standard picnic table, right? That's red with the benches and all that. It's me, my mom, my dad, and I can't remember her name, but the very old lady, very, very kind. And her husband, he was going to join us very shortly. He was just going to finish mowing the lawn. And he had maybe 5 minutes left to do. And he had a riding mower. And the way I'm sitting, I see him because now he's going out toward the cliff and he's making this little bank left. And he underestimates where he's at. And so the 2 wheels that are closest to the cliff went over. So for like 1 second, it's hanging there kind of diagonally, and I see his face, and before I can even open my mouth or point, he's gone. So by the time I point, everyone turns around, there's just nothing there. Then it clicks in everyone's mind, oh, God, there's nothing there, and we don't hear the lawnmower anymore. And, man, we looked down. He survived, but it was bad because he was old. He's probably like 79 then, right? Oof. Yeah, I mean, they were an old couple, and it's a weird thing because I did not see him crash, but I saw him disappear, man.
Who really messed up at work, and did you feel bad for him? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Chris. Welcome to the men's room.
Liquor and whores.
Liquor and whores.
Hey, don't drive mowers off of cliffs when you're 79.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Don't drive them off, period.
Yeah, you're too old to be cutting grass at that point. Just say hire somebody.
I believe they did after that.
Oh, my God. So, my story, I'm going to start with, first of all, you were wondering earlier how heavy logs are.
Yeah, those big-ass logging trucks.
Yeah, a 24-inch log, 30-ish feet long, weighs a ton.
I mean, you're not saying that by...
Right, like literally.
It weighs a ton, right? Like an elephant.
No, literally. I was in logging for many years. It weighs 1 ton.
Doesn't it seem like there's a lot of truck drivers
Excuse me, 1,000 pounds. Sorry.
A half ton.
1,000 pounds.
All right. But it seems like there's a lot of truck drivers in the logging world that don't make it when those trucks crash.
I grew up in the industry, and I know plenty of them that are not here anymore.
It's crazy, man. It's just like, and the trucks the trucks look older to me, too. You know what I mean? It's not like a new 18-wheeler. It's always like one that looks like a Mack truck from like 1680 or something. You know what I mean?
Well, they're trying to make money.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. They're not trying to spend money on trucks. So my story, I've got lots of them I could tell you, but the one that stands out for me is, and you were thinking about log loaders earlier, they're all mobile. Some of them are track mounted. Some of them are rubber mounted. And that means they're on tires, right? Pneumatic tires. And so I'm working next to one of those. I'm about 19 years old. They call it I'm the chaser. So you're unhooking the cables from the logs and running a chainsaw. Standing behind this machine, it's a rubber mounted machine, and the counterweight is about 6 inches away from the deck of the machine, which runs right about my shoulder height all the time.
And what is the counterweight? Does the counterweight have to also be 1,000 pounds?
Depends upon the machine. The counterweight, if you think about like an excavator, it's got that big thing on the back of the turret.
Right.
Right? That huge thing on the back of the turret is this gigantic weight so that it doesn't tip over when it picks up a log.
Right. That's what I was asking. Does it have to counter that weight of that log and be like the weight,
That's correct.
1,000 pounds as well?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So Now, mind you, there's about 6 inches of clearance in between the counterweight and the deck of this machine, and I knew my safe zone. If I was standing in a particular spot, I didn't have to pay attention to where that was because I knew I was clear of it. I got lazy or tired and not paying attention one day, and I was standing back too far, and a counterweight came around, and it clipped my hard hat, slammed my face into the deck of the machine. It broke my nose. I was bleeding. If I'd have been standing further back, it would have caught my head in between the counterweight and the deck. And I don't know about you, but my cranium won't fit in a 6-inch space.
But it would have made it fit. It would have blown up, right?
Oh, yeah, there would have been no question.
So do you get to take a quick 5-minute break, or is this just a common hazard of the job, so it's like get over it and move on?
No, I was standing over to the side, hands on my knees, puking, because the realization of what just happened, I could have just died, it caused this acute stress response. And the boss stops his machine, and he looks over, he's like, "You okay?" Like, give me a couple of minutes and I will be. And yeah, went back to work.
All right. Yeah, I'm just curious. Certain jobs, if it's because like you said, your reaction is my hands are on my knees, I'm puking, not from the pain, just the realization that I almost died.
I haven't been that scared before. Like, you know what I mean? Like, scared to pee myself, crap myself, throw up. I know it's a natural reaction.
Sure, depending what it is.
Just haven't been in that situation, knock on wood, where it's been that traumatic to me, where that was like my immediate response.
Someone here, we're talking about these kinds of accidents. It says, I watched my boss run over a coworker with a forklift. She ended up losing a foot.
Ooh.
God.
Oh,
damn. Yeah.
I think the closest I've been to that, actually, to be honest with you, is finding out someone who I love passed away.
Yeah,
I feel maybe throwing up. Maybe that's the only time where it's just like kind of hit you when you find out.
When I went snowmobiling, I felt that way.
Oh, when you almost went off the cliff?
Yes.
That's fair.
Like, even right now, telling the story,
You are
like,
so
my
serious.
heart is still like dropping.
Your face never changes.
You had to get back
story.
on the damn thing and ride it back, too.
Right, that was the worst part.
I would say that
we were
to be the
deep
worst.
in there, and there was like I've told you, but there was one hill where they were like, "Look, I know you don't want to go fast, but like you got to get enough speed. You're never going to make it up this hill."
So you just go.
All right.
Hello, Damien. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bicholas.
Hola.
Well, my story takes place just about 10 years ago. I was a manager at a very popular fast food restaurant.
All right.
And I was 22, dating another manager who was about 45, swear she had the body of a 30-year-old.
Yeah, to justify that.
I know.
Yeah, just so you know.
Just so you know.
She might have been that old, but she's a smoke show.
She was never getting high on our supply.
Well, the screw-up came was one night we got to close together. Well, hormones, after closing up, got a little much, and I put my head under her skirt at one point while I was in the back on my knee. That was all fine in the end.
But is this during hours or you are closed?
No, we were closed up.
Oh, okay. I was like, damn.
We're the last two there, but
at the Jack in the Box, they'll give you that for $1. I got a taco that.
Hey, hand me that tartar sauce gun. Need something.
Right.
But no, so she forgot to clock out, which wouldn't have been an issue because in the morning they would just match her time with mine. Well, she decided to clock out afterwards when we were there for about 2 hours. Longer than we were supposed to be, so they decided to check the tape to see what she was doing there so long.
Oh, no.
Because I got pulled in about 2 days later by my manager, the owner, and he's like, "So, Damien," and he's just turning red-faced, and I'm like, "Yeah," I just laughed, like, "Yeah, I know what's going on." He's like, "Yeah, the other night when you closed with so-and-so," I was like, "Yeah." And he's just looking at me like, "Why'd you do it?" It's like,
What do you mean, why did I do it?
At the time.
Because it's available, dummy.
I clocked out.
Right, I clocked
out.
I'm off the clock
Sorry.
and on something else.
I'm an employee.
I would never ask you why you did it. I get it. I just, hey, can you try not to do it? If you're going to do it at work, can you make sure that she has also clocked out?
I would say, what would you have done?
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
What would you have done?
Because you know that guy's done it too. But just clock out. So he watched the video of you.
Yep.
Oh, he didn't watch it once. Damien, he watched it like 20 times. All his friends saw it.
he turned his laptop and he showed me a still image of me in front of the safe, basically, and and I was like, yeah, that's me.
I mean, your head was, you're like a photographer in the 1800s, technically.
I'll let my imagination go a while.
Well, look, if I want to get busted for something at work, I'd be like, I'm okay with this, man.
But your buddy got fired for doing it on the roof, didn't he?
He did it on the roof of the museum was the problem. And he showed up late to work the next day. So all of this came together. And so my boss was a little agitated, but we're giggling because we know this guy. And it's like, right. And he was dating the girl that I called Gums because he couldn't find her teeth. But, God, she was hideous. But anyway, he did that. But the problem was he was on the museum roof. And museum security, even though they were kind of chuckling, the owner of that museum was like, yeah, Well, that's scary. Nothing they can do. They work for the venue. They work for the You have the right. So this guy, what he just got busted on doing his thing, a similar kind of comment comes in. It says, as for a coworker I felt bad for, says, I've seen a lot, but I felt bad for a girl who accidentally sent a picture of her vagina to her supervisor. She thought it was the guy she was dating at the time because they had the same first name. Now, she was very embarrassed, felt horrible about the mistake. The supervisor was offended by it, and he reported it to me. So I had to recommend that we write her up. The worst part is the picture was graphic, and they put graphic in all caps. It was every inch of her vagina, and I had to print it off and ask her, is this your picture?
Look, I've seen a lot. Well,
I've seen a lot of vaginas.
I've seen some vaginas, right?
Yeah, sure.
I've never looked at one and went, that is graphic. I've always been like, yeah.
I've never had a problem with being graphic. I've seen ones where I'm like, I did not need to see that.
Right. But you wouldn't describe it as graphic.
No, I think I would just go to the coworker like, look, I know you did not intend this to me, so either change how I am in your phone, date a guy with a different name, or keep sending me pictures. I mean, it's up to you.
You can get a graphic one.
Yeah, think about Hustler versus Playboy, right? There's a difference in the spirit with which they are sending you the picture.
I understand that.
It's not like, hey, I'm going to show you what I've got. It's like, I want you to see it all.
You see a lot of cars, right?
You're thinking like feet over the shoulders,
right? Yeah, that's what I mean.
Say you see a lot of cars, but if a guy's on the side of the road working on his car with the car hood open, you're like, all right, well, that's different than thousands of other cars.
I see more of that car.
Right?
I see. Who really messed up at work, and did you feel bad for him? 206-421-ROCK.
Well, I'm just saying.
You're saying he got to look under the hood.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right.
Hello, Brad. Welcome to the men's room.
Take me back home.
Hola.
Hey, so, I work at a metal fabrication shop, and we have, different kind of trucks for different jobs, and one of them's a box truck. One of my coworkers was going through the Arboretum after delivering, some rail or something to one of those big old houses over there, and he didn't realize that stone bridge in the middle of the Arboretum is a little low for the truck that he took that he doesn't usually drive.
Oh, man. I know exactly where that bridge is.
Yeah, the stone one. Yeah, he checked it.
Did he stick it in there, or did he just drag it through?
He got it surprisingly far through there,
but not all the way.
No, not all the way.
Then it doesn't matter.
Was he able to back it out?
Yeah, he was able to back it out. Then a few other coworkers showed up to get everything out of the accordioned box.
Now, what is the bigger problem, the box truck or the stone bridge that he's hit?
Say what?
But he hit the stone bridge. Which one suffered more damage, the bridge or the truck?
Oh, the bridge is fine.
Yeah, it's still there.
Okay.
Yeah, we had to replace the box on the truck, but luckily they sell, used Bud Light truck boxes and stuff like that, so we just had to scrape a huge Bud Light logo off of it.
I'd have kept the Bud Light logo on there.
Just kept that.
I know,
why not, dude?
I mean, no one's going to, there's more of a chance maybe that someone would try to break into said truck, I guess.
It's not that, but here's my thought. You keep Bud Light on there, and there's nothing against Bud Light, but if that idiot's driving the truck again, if he tries to do the hit and run, they're going after Anheuser-Busch. Like, hey, man, we saw one of your box trucks do it. Said it plain as day.
Who really messed up at work, and did you feel bad for him? 206-421-ROCK.
Hell, if I owned a company where people had to drive, right? So a lot of plumbing companies will have the name of the plumbing company on the side. I would just hire average drivers and just put a fake name up there. You know, if you're coming to Thurl's Plumbing, it might say Ted's Plumbing. That way, if there's a problem, like, I'm trying to find Ted's Plumbing, man. Can't find a number anywhere, but it's clearly labeled.
And if you have a number on the back like how's my driving, just make it like a sex line.
Oh, yeah, anything other than my real number.
1999. Like if you're calling, man, you're getting charged immediately for the first 30 seconds.
Or just make it a number where, like, the machine just says, we don't really care.
Right. Sorry. I feel bad because no one who has that sticker on the back of the vehicle wants that goddamn sticker on the back of the vehicle.
How's my driving?
Right. I think everybody should have that so you can dial the number like, I'm the guy behind you. Your blinker has been on for the last 7 miles. Either change goddamn lanes or turn off your blinker.
Get out of the fast lane.
Right. Hello, Mike. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola.
All right, so I got the story I called in with for you, but I used to work in your building, and I got another story if you're up for it after.
Okay.
So I work, let's say, helping people, since I can't get too specific.
All right.
But one of the rules of my job is you don't take anything from anybody but a signature.
Okay.
You don't take items, you don't take money, nothing. So one of my coworkers is helping a woman, and the woman she was helping didn't think she could hang on to the $1,700 for the deposit on her new place. So asked my coworker to hold the money for her until she could get it to her new landlord.
All right.
My coworker takes the money and then is out sick for a week. This woman shows up while my coworker's out sick looking for her cash. Nobody has any idea what she's talking about. So our supervisor, realizing what my coworker had done, gets somebody else to go in with her and tear apart my coworker's cubicle to find the $1,700 because nobody wants to touch that without somebody else, saying, hey, this is where it went.
Yeah, of course.
Gives the money back to the woman and then says nothing to any, like basically says, don't say anything to her. Don't let her know what happened. Coworker comes back from being sick, checks her messages, goes looking for the money, and freaks out.
Yeah, I bet she does.
And then she gets called in for a talk, and she goes, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. We're just telling her, be honest. Don't lie. Because she was sweating bullets.
I kind of figured she took the money, and that's why she took the time off.
That was my thought.
She just took the money, went on a bender.
Yeah, well, when it comes down to it, if she had taken the money, I don't think $1,700 is worth your yearly salary.
No,
but
that's not.
No.
What happened in our building?
Okay, so 20 years ago, I was security in your building.
Okay.
So, security, like we're all contract guys. So you got a guy like me where I'm just pulling a paycheck and I don't have any aspirations of being anything other than a polyester uniform. But then you got guys who are just weird, just bent in all the wrong ways. So we had a guy that everybody called Meathead. And this guy was a bona fide idiot. But he was always working the night shift, and when there's vacant suites in the building, you're supposed to keep them all nice and pristine, so, when they're trying to show the suite to rent out to somebody, it's good to go.
Sure.
He would go into the suites in the middle of the night, drop a deuce in the toilet in the suite, and then just leave a floater there.
And this is just what he did?
This is just what he did. And everybody knew it was him, but they spent a lot of time working out how they were going to have the conversation with him about, hey, man, like, why are you leaving floaters all over the building?
I feel like that's an easy one. Like, hey, Jeff, stop essing in the toilets in the suite. Or if you do, flush the toilet.
I just think it's nice that they have actual suites here.
By the way, we're talking about the How's My Driving stickers. Someone here says, I called a How's My Driving sticker last week, and it was a scam trying to sell me some Life Alert.
All right, guys, so coming up, we will sit and spin today. We have 10 songs that were hits 20 years ago. You are listening to The Men's Room.